Here we are going to learn how to do a passage containing headings. Right. Generally there are a lot of misconceptions regarding that many students say, okay, the answer is either in the first or second sentence or in the last sentence, or maybe might be multiple options are there for answers in case of heading. Okay, the method I am going to use here is, as you can see here, I am going to read the complete paragraph. Look at that. Unlike other types of questions, we are going to read here the paragraph first, then only we are going to the options. Okay, in other questions what we have seen that, okay, first of all we have to read the question, then coming to the passage. Okay, here this is a passage taken from Cambridge book number 6, test number 2. Okay, without looking into the options, we are going to read the paragraph. In fact, Newman believes the main reason for adopting one sort of transport over another is politics. What is politics? Power of people. Okay, how a sort of transportation is selected over another? Because of the power of people. Right. The more democratic the process, the more public transport is favored. Which means when there is a power in the hands of people, automatically public transport will be favored over private ones. He considers Portland, Oregon. See, here is a point. Whenever there is an example, it directly gives you the answer in case of heading. This city is a perfect example of this. What happened there? Some years ago, federal money was granted to build a new road. Federal money means government money was allocated for building a new road. However, local pressure groups forced a referendum over whether to spend the money on light rail instead. Local people forced that the money, instead of spending on the road, should be spent on railway. The rail proposal won and the railway worked spectacularly well. Because of the power of people, automatically what happened? The rail proposal got acceptance and the railway worked really well. The years that have followed, means the following years, more and more rail systems have been put in, dramatically changing the nature of the city. Newman notes that Portland has about the same population as Perth and had a similar population density at the time. Means the population of Portland was similar to that of Perth, Australia, and the density means how many people live in a square kilometer. Density of population also was same to that of Perth. What have you understood? What you need to do after reading the paragraph, you have to make a summary for that. Which means when the power is in the hands of people, whatever the proposal that they make, that would be accepted. What is their proposal here? Public transportation. Now we are going to see the options. The first one, avoiding an overcrowded center. Is there anything about overcrowded center? No. A successful exercise in people power. That could be the answer, as I told you. The example is the same. When people have power, they will enforce the authorities to introduce something in favor of public, which means public transportation. That could be an option. Okay, anyway, we are going to rule out other possibilities, as the first one will not be there, second one could be the option, mark it there, and the third one, the second one we will select as an option, not an answer. Third one, the benefits of working together in cities. There is nothing like working together, right? It will not be the option. And the fourth one, higher incomes, there is nothing about income, you don't want to read further. Economic arguments, there is no economic arguments. 6, the impact of telecommunications, there is nothing about telecommunication. 7, increase in travelling time, there is nothing about travelling time also. Responding to arguments against public transport, is there any arguments? Public transport is there, but is there any argument against? No, in favor of only. So you can roll out other possibilities. For paragraph 1, simply you can select the option 2, right? And When it comes to the next paragraph, that is B. In the UK, travel times to work had been stable for at least 6 centuries. Means for 6 centuries, 600 years, there wasn't any more change in case of traveling times, with people avoiding situations that required them to spend more than half an hour traveling to work. Means if they wanted to travel or they had to travel more than half an hour, they did not opt for such a kind of a job, which means they selected the jobs which were very much close to them. Yeah, the proximity was there. Trains and cars initially allowed people to live at greater distances without taking longer to reach their destination. See, initially they used cars or trains to reach their workplace. That did not consume much time. Obviously, we know that traffic congestion was not there. However, public infrastructure did not keep pace with the pace means speed with urban development. Means as the cities enlarged, the public infrastructure like roads did not improve. That caused massive means huge congestion, means traffic jam problems, which now make commuting times far higher. Commuting means traveling, especially to the same place. Unlike the past, traveling time is more now. Why? Because traffic congestion is more than the past. Now we understood what the overall meaning of the paragraph is. What is that? They are talking about the traveling time. Unlike the past, it is more. Avoiding an overcrowded center, that is not there. Second is already over. The benefit of working together in cities, the benefit is not there. Then higher incomes, there is nothing about the income. Economic argument, there is no economic argument. Impact of telecommunication like telephone, that is not there. Then increase in traveling time could be a possibility, because already we have discussed that. Unlike the past, traveling times increased. Then the seventh one, responding to arguments against, there is no argument against public transportation. So simply you can find the answer, that is 7, right, because there is no any other option. And the next one, C paragraph. See, there is a belief that when the paragraph is bigger, it is really hard to get the answer. But I would say the opposite, because when the paragraph is bigger, there would be much explanation regarding the major point. So it would be easy to get the answer, because there will be explanation, there will be examples, right? There is a widespread belief, means commonly believed thing, that increasing wealth encourages people to live farther out where cars are the only viable transport, which means when the wealth increases, people like to live farther. Farther means too much away from the maybe city center, from their workplace, where cars are only viable transport. Viable means only practical, possible transport. The example of that is a belief only, is not the truth. The example of European cities refutes that. Refute means debunk, proving to be wrong. Why? They are often wealthier than their American counterparts. More than American countries, European countries are better in terms of economic improvement, but have not generated the same level of car use. But in Europe, car use is comparatively less than America. For example, in Stockholm, a European city, car use has actually fallen in recent years as the city has become larger and wealthier. See, generally what happens, car usage is more when economic prosperity is there, but in European cities it was the other way. A new study makes this point even more starkly. Starkly means clear. Developing cities in Asia, such as Jakarta, which is the capital of Indonesia, and Bangkok, which is the capital of Thailand, make more use of car than wealthy Asian cities such as Tokyo and Singapore. As we know, Tokyo is the capital of Japan, and Singapore, that is a well-developed nation in Asia. They use less car than Jakarta and Bangkok. They are not that much developed as of Tokyo or Singapore. Which means, look, there are two examples. One is of Europe and America. One is in Asian countries, right? In cities that developed later, the World Bank and Asian Development Bank discouraged the building of public transport, and people have been forced to rely on cars. This public transport was discouraged, so that people were forced to depend on cars, creating the massive traffic jams that characterize means now that is the face of those cities. What distinguishes those cities is just the massive traffic congestion. What does it mean? The paragraph means that even if the nation is richer, it doesn't mean that it uses a lot of cars. And the other way, as the city develops, car usage minimizes, diminishes. Now, going to the options. See, avoiding an overcrowded center, there is nothing like avoiding an overcrowded center. The benefits of working together, there is nothing about benefits are there, but it's not about working together in cities. And the fourth one, higher incomes need not mean more cars. Look, we have the example of Europe, we have the example of Asian countries. Higher incomes need not mean more cars. Economic arguments fail to pursue, there is nothing about, economic arguments are there, but fail to pursue, that is not there. Sixth option, the impact of telecommunication, nothing about telecommunication. And the seventh already over. And the eighth option, responding to arguments against, nothing is against public transport. So what we have concised, like we have summarized that this way, that when the paragraph is bigger, there will be more examples, and the examples, they give the answer, right? Higher incomes did not mean more cars. Even if people have more money, it doesn't mean that they will buy more cars. And going to the next one, the fourth one, D paragraph. Newman believes one of the best studies on how cities built for cars might be converted to rail use is the Urban Village report, which used Melbourne as an example. See, the sentence is somewhat lengthier. Let's break it. Newman believes one of the best studies, means many studies were done, and from that one of the best is, best for what? How cities built for cars, means the cities built for cars, how to convert to rail use. That study is the Urban Village report, which means this report says the cities constructed for using the cars could be converted for the rail use, which used Melbourne as an example. Melbourne, Australia is here taken as an example for that, which means there might be, initially car usage was more and later on it was converted to rail use. It found that pushing everyone into the city center was not the best approach. Means, driving everyone to the city was not the best approach. Instead, the proposal advocate means what? Suggested the creation of urban village at hundreds of sites, mostly around railway stations. See, rather than depending on private vehicles such as cars or motorcycle, people can reach their destination if the destinations are around rail stations, right? As railway can carry a lot of people than other private vehicles. So, what was their proposal? Creating urban villages at hundreds of sites, not in a particular area, but at hundreds of sites near to railway station. So in that way they could avoid traffic congestion, right? And people don't want to use a car, which means road. And going to the options. See, avoiding an overcrowded center rather than pushing everyone into the city center. The same. Let's see other options also. We will mark it here and we will go to other options. The benefits of working together in cities. Working together in cities is not there. Economic arguments, there is no economic argument. The impact of telecommunication, regarding telecommunication, nothing is there. Corresponding to arguments against, there is no argument against public transport. In fact, the argument in favor of public transport is there, right? So the only option that is 1. And the final one, the paragraph. It was once assumed that improvements in telecommunications would lead to more dispersal in the population as the people were no longer forced into cities. What does it mean? It was once thought, accepted, that improvements in telecommunication, which means when telephone-like devices would improve, that would lead to more dispersal. Disperse means scattering, being into different places. The population, as people were no longer forced into cities, there was no need of forcing the people into cities. However, the ISTP scheme's research demonstrates that, demonstrate means, as you know, indicate, show, the population and job density of cities rose or remained constant in 1980s after decades of decline. See, previously the population and job density were declining, but since 1980s it either rose or remained steady, constant. Means there wasn't much change in case of population and job density. The explanation for this seems to be that it is valuable to place people working in related fields together. What's the reason? The explanation for this one is, previously, it was thought that when the telecommunication devices would improve, people would be living farther away, but it was not the case. People started coming to cities more, not less. The new world will largely depend on human creativity. What is the reason? The new world needs the survival of the world depends on the human creativity, and creativity flourished. Flourish means improve, spread, where people come together face to face. Okay, when people work together, come face to face, the creativity improves, and altogether the scenario changes. Now options, the benefits of working together in cities is when people come in contact face to face, automatically there are advantages. Okay, let's mark it. This is an option that we know, right? Economic arguments fail to pursue. Is there any economic argument? No. The impact of telecommunication is there, but that did not have any impact on population distribution. See, dispersal, that was assumed, that was thought, it didn't happen. See, seeing the word telecommunications, majority of the students would opt for this option. That is a major problem. But they are saying that did not make any impact on population distribution. And the 7th option, responding to arguments against public transport. There is no argument against public transport, so the answer for this one should be 3, right? And for D paragraph, what is the answer for D paragraph? Pushing everyone to the city center is not the solution, which means for D, that should be 1, right? And for C, that is higher incomes need not mean more cars, right? Which means the 4th option, right? Hope that it was useful, you understood it. Simply read the paragraph and try to make a summary, right? The major point, look at that, why do authors write different paragraphs? This is for, easy following, which means in every paragraph they want to convey a different message, a main point that is discussed there. So when the paragraph is bigger, take it this way, that more explanation regarding the major point will be there, and maybe examples would be there that would directly help you to get the answer, right? So this is all for heading.